live then. All right, so as people could see on the screen, it's July 8th, 2024. And yeah, like we're saying, Dan, last time we talked, it was right after the debate. And then we all of a sudden, I couldn't have predicted that was going to happen. The whole media has turned on Joe Biden and they want his ass out.
Yep.
They're backtracking on everything they were saying as far as his cognitive abilities and whatever that was. It cognitive? Is that the right
Yeah.
word?
No, that's right.
Yeah. So and yeah, that fool's he's being defiant. So now it's just infight between the Democrats. So real quick, just my theory is just I don't know, but it doesn't even make sense. I guess that they're just trying to distract now from just policies. Because you don't see now that's all they're talking about. Even on Fox News, that's all they talk about is just how the strategy, how they're going to get rid of them, who wants to get rid of them, why they want to get rid of them. But they're not talking about the policies anymore. So I'm wondering if they do get there, if they do get them out, like they're still stalling out. I think the way you had said, they're going to stall out the very last minute. And just hide the policies because whoever takes, even if anybody that takes over for him, is gonna still have to back his policies. There's no way they could just, throw him and all of his policies under the bus. It's gonna be either Kamala Newsom, so they're just gonna double down on everything he's done. But
Well, go.
I'm just saying. In the meantime, I mean, yeah, like all they're doing, they're just gonna drag this out, just talk about him leaving, but not talk about, his border policy and how, illegals. There's basically there's like a rape and murder a week now. It seems like
Well, as far as policies go, I think it's good to understand this is that the people the president isn't making policy. It's the people behind the scenes, the money brokers, the people with power and money. And we don't know exactly who they all are, but you can surmise that Soros is one of them, Bill Gates and people like that, and bank corporations, people who really controlling the politicians, China. So the people who are really behind the scenes are the ones making the policies. So Biden being president, his policies aren't his policies. He's not making any of these policies. He's doing what he's told. Really, he's not doing anything other than trying to just show up and be coherent. They're just doing what they want. So it doesn't matter. They keep him, they replace him. The people making policy are still in place. They haven't changed. No matter who they put in the White House, those people have not changed. Trump, then you got a problem.
Yeah.
So
it's more of a globalist, globalist agenda that they're just all pushing. Because I was reading yesterday that the theory is that Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Obama are the ones that are really running everything. They're the ones making the main decisions.
I think they're still being led by money, right? So they're not. They would be the politicians that are actually coordinating with the billionaires and power movers of the world. They would be the ones actually coordinating and having discussions. Biden wouldn't be part of that. They just tell him, this is what we're doing. And they really don't even tell him unless he has to go out and say something, which, he doesn't do a lot. And when he does, he's not that coherent.
Yeah.
So the only reason they want to get rid of Biden, they would love for Biden to stay. But it's just the writing's on the wall. It's just so bad that they're like, there's no way this guy could be president anymore, and much less for 4 more years. So we have to replace him with somebody else. Now we need somebody else to put in that place that'll do the same function. They'll stand there, pretend that they're in charge, and these are their policies, but they're being dictated to by people like, like you said, Pelosi and Biden, Obama. But it's really the power brokers behind that, the ones that are making them all, super rich. All our politicians are like royalty. They got money out the butt, right? Yeah. They all have mansions, and this is what America has become. And yet these politicians talk about how they're for the working class and the poor and the unions. They're not. They're all about money, because if they were that, they wouldn't be taking all this, which is illegal. But anyway, my point is that so Kamala goes in there, Newsom goes in there, whoever, Michelle Obama, whoever they pick, or whoever is going to just be a figurehead. And if they get in, the people who are really running the show continue running the show. The presidency, head of the country, the face of the country may change, but the people running the show hasn't changed at all.
Yeah.
And like I said, they would love to keep Biden. He's super easy to control, and he does the job that they want him to do and pretend that he's the president and he's making decisions. They're making decisions, so they would rather keep him because it's already in place. But it's too late. Like, he's too out of control. He's too not out of control, but he's too.
Well, I was thinking that they can't play it off. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna
Right.
have to if their plan is still to steal, which it has to be. There's no damn way they think that they have enough votes to beat Trump. So they have a plan to steal, I think. But I think with Biden and the way he's acting, there's no way they could play it off. You know what I mean? That, oh yeah, he did a great campaign, did a great run, and that's why he beat Biden. He just resonated with the voters. So I think that's what it is. I think they just know, like, shit, like this guy can't even put a sentence together. So how are we gonna play it off that he won again? You know what I mean? Like, so
Right. And it's become too obvious to the everyday American that he can't do the job. So and they know this, and so they're going, okay, we would love to keep him, but he's just not capable of fooling even a basic person who doesn't pay much attention.
yeah,
So we do have to replace him. If he could still hold it together, they would keep him, but they can't. So they need to move on. As well as he's more of a liability for the next election than if they replaced him with somebody else would have a better chance
yeah.
winning without them having to rig it. But don't get me wrong, like you said, they'll rig it if they need to rig it. So they'll replace him and they'll see what the poll numbers look like for the next person, whoever that may be.
It has to be Kamala, man. Like,
Well, Kamala. Okay, so it's like I said in the last one, Kamala is going to be the president for a few months,
Yeah.
and then, but the problem is, okay, so the convention's coming up next month. At the convention, if Biden hasn't dropped out, which I think he will before the convention, then, but if he doesn't, either way, the funny thing is Kamala will become the first female president, and probably, I guess, yeah, the first female president in history without a single person voting for her as president, right? Then you go to the convention, and this might be decided at the convention, it might be decided before if he steps down. But either way, you go to the convention, and then the next nominee for the Democrat Party for president of the United States will also be nominated without a single vote from the American people because the primaries are over, right? So it's going to be delegates who get to choose whoever they want because nobody voted for any of these people in the primaries, or for the most part, they weren't running. Like if Gavin Newsom gets in, he wasn't running. He had 0 votes. They can nominate him with delegates. They can control these delegates, no problem. So they can put a new president in, no votes not 1 vote from the American people, and they can put the nominee in, not 1 vote from the American people. So this is where they live. This is what they love. They do not want people to vote. They want to be able to control everything. So this is great for them. But they do have the general election coming up after that the people are going to vote. So that the strategy is, okay, who's going to be the best contender to Trump?
Well, I don't know. I still kind of stick with the. Man, I always forget this people's damn name. Larry Elder. Larry Elder's theory is that they can't replace Kamala because the strongest vote that he thinks the strongest vote that the Democrats have is the black woman vote. So if they were to replace Kamala with Newsom, like at the Democrat convention, even the Republicans would use that as as an attack. Like, oh, see, black women, they got betrayed, and they want a white man. They're just using you, fooling you. But the only way around that would be if they replace Kamala with what's her face, Obama's wife. What's her name?
Michelle
Obama. But she's already saying that she don't want to run. But yeah, if it that to me makes sense that black women, if that is true, that black women vote or Democrat voters would feel betrayed if Kamala was put aside and say Gavin Newsom was put. So the Republicans will use that. See, they push the black woman aside. They put a white man. So they're just fooling you, Democrats. Don't believe them. So I think they have to be thinking that way too, man. So, it,
And that's a real possibility. They very well may stick with her. I
well,
don't know that.
Michelle Obama's are saying she's not in it, but you never know. They might be doing exactly, I think, what you had said. That basically that they're gonna wait till the very last moment so that it's all. I don't know if you said that or if I saw it on TV, but they're saying that they think they're just stalling out, and to the very last minute they're gonna replace Biden somehow, and that way all the attacks are still on him, and they only have like a month left to try to
No, that is what I said. And so, so on the debate, what's happening here is on the debate, that was when the clock was started. Now, you can't go, oh, he had a bad debate, I stepped down. The American people are going to be shocked. But they're kind of, I mean, funny. American people weren't shocked by what he did. That's how he normally talks. The media is acting like they're shocked. They're not. But the point is that they got the clock running. They started talking about it. Now we need to get the American people comfortable with that. Give it a month or so, and then he'll come out to the Rose Garden and step down. And the American people will be comfortable with it, and they'll say, "Oh, okay, yeah, we kind of saw this coming." Now, Kamala Harris becomes the president. Oh, now they could check off female president. Now, do they want to keep her? Yeah, maybe, but I mean, I don't think that that's their first choice. They do have control of her, but at the same time, she's off the rails too when she gives speeches. A lot of time, she she goes and says stuff that just doesn't make sense. Like, she's not as bad as Joe Biden, though, or she loses her train of thought. Her train of thought keeps going. We just don't know what the hell it is, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like, she's talking and she's not stopping. Like Biden, where he gets stopped and goes, you know, right? She just keeps talking, but a lot of the time you don't know what are you talking about,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So that's not really, I think, who they want either. They do have control of her, but she's still not a great match against Trump, probably. Whereas Gavin Newsom or Michelle Obama, much better. Now they can talk and make sense.
yeah,
So these are better. These are better options for them. A lot of people are better options, but they think those would be the two most likely.
yeah,
So, I mean, if they could replace her with Michelle Obama, they got no problem with the woman thing. That's out the door. Kamala's out. She in. If it's Gavin, you got a point that you got the woman thing, right? Where,
yeah.
hey, what about this? But at the same time, women love Gavin Newsom, so they won't have any problem with that. He's a good-looking guy, and they'll go for that. So, I don't know. I mean, I can't say for certainty. My instinct says that Biden steps down, Kamala becomes the president for a couple months Kamala becomes president at the convention. They nominate Newsom for the party. Kamala can still run it. It's an open field, but that's who they're going to nominate. Well, no, they can't. They can't. Primaries are over, so they'll nominate Newsom, and it'll be Newsom versus Trump. That's what I think is going to happen.
That's their
I
best
wouldn't be
bet.
surprised if it's Kamala Harris. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Michelle Obama, but it's going to be some Biden.
Well, fuck. Well, as it stands right now, Biden is being defiant as hell. He's saying it all over the place. He's got Jill Biden saying it. I guess he's got Hunter Biden now traveling with him everywhere, going to meetings, making sure that he's the guy, and so he's being defiant. So unless it's all still a strategy, like this is just a big giant chess play. Because I was gonna say the only other thing that kind of just makes no sense to me is that I didn't think Biden did that bad during the debates, but they're talking about like he just completely did a horrible job. But he had some bad moments. The Medicare line that he kind of let Trump jump off of. There was a couple other things where he kind of rambled on, but other than that, I thought he was. He looked lost. He looked like he was listening to something in his ear for sure, but I don't think he did that bad. But they're trying to make it seem like it was the worst debate in history. Like, so I don't know.
Right.
It seems like there's a bigger strategy like in play right now. I don't know.
Right. When I watched the debate, I agree. I had the same thought. That's average. I mean, it's terrible, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
average. It was average for him, right? It wasn't the worst I've seen him talk. It wasn't the best. It was about average for him. The reason they went that way is because they've been given their orders that now it's time to
yeah.
replace him.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
That's the only reason, because they've all seen the same stuff we've seen. He didn't act a whole lot different than he normally does, right? So this has been out there for years, and so
Uh,
the shot callers behind the scenes said, okay, we got to replace him because he's not going to make 4 years.
no.
There's no way this guy. I don't even know if he'll survive 4 years alive, much
Yeah.
less he's not going to be able to be the president. It would be. It's already a ridiculous spectacle.
Yeah.
Imagine what it will be if he got 4 more years. It would just be so ridiculous that they have no choice but to replace him. So that debate was like, it doesn't matter how he acts in that debate. It's time to flip the script and get him out. Now he can go out on his own, or we'll force him out. One way
Yeah.
or the other, he's out. It's over. It's been done.
Yeah.
And then you have the White House press secretary talking about how he had a cold and jet lag. It's like, that doesn't even make it better, right? We know it's a lie. Everyone knows you're lying. I wish I was in the room and I could just walk up to her and go, look, just stop it. Seriously, stop.
Yeah.
It's enough already. Nobody believes anything you're saying here. Because even if he did have a cold and jet lag, so you're telling me that if he gets a cold or he gets tired, he can't operate as president.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That's
what
what
you're
everybody's
telling me,
saying.
right? Like, so in other words, what you're saying is he's not able to be the president because a cold comes and goes. You're going to get several of those here and there. And I can understand that somebody's not completely 100% on their game, but because he's tired, I
Yeah.
mean, because what? He flew? So he can't fly anywhere and then think, is what you're saying. So what you're saying is he's not capable of being president. So she's up there spouting off. I mean, they are just grasping at straws because the White House administration is still trying to save itself. You got two elements there. You got the power brokers behind the scenes giving the media and the other Democrats their marching orders. He's out, he's out, he's out. And then you got the White House fighting for their survival. So they're actually fighting each other right now, because
Yeah.
the people in the White House want to keep their jobs, want to keep their influence, and the other people are like, no, you guys are out. So, but it's a done deal. He's gone. He's out for sure. Um, it's just a matter of who's going to be president after that.
It's just pretty interesting, man. Like, I mean, I don't think either one of us, anybody could have predicted this was going to happen about a month ago. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I predicted it like 2 years ago.
really, that
I've
they're
been,
gonna they push him out this way?
oh yeah.
Like
I mean,
literally, like it's a battle between the Democrats and Biden. Like, that's
I
crazy. I
didn't know
never.
that. I didn't know that it would be at the debate. I knew there would come a time, and I've been saying this for a long time because he's been
No,
talking
yeah,
like
I
this
remember you.
forever.
Yeah, I remember you saying like you
So,
would think that he was just gonna voluntarily sit and like step down and be like,
and he probably is.
But this way, I think it's going to be obvious that he's stepping down because he's being forced to. I think he's just that much of an arrogant person. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, you gotta also understand that, like, okay, is Biden actually fighting for the presidency, or is he just acting? These people, like, it's funny to me because they lie to you pretty much everything they say, yet people still want to talk about their lie. Like, yeah, okay, is it true?
yeah,
Right? So he's acting like, I'm not going anywhere, blah blah blah. But he probably already knows he's leaving, right? He probably already knows this. Now it could be that they have to force him out, but I think not. I think that he knows it's been a plan for quite a while. Like, he hasn't been coherent for the majority of this presidency. So so the people that are actually calling the shots are like, we can't keep him. If he was coherent, they would keep him, but they can't. So they've known this for a long time, and so I knew that they were going to replace him. And I said, for the last couple of years, I said it'll be a couple months, before the election, because you don't want to give people much time to vet whoever they go with after that.
yeah, yeah,
And that's exactly what they've done now. I just didn't know. I wasn't privy to the actual timetable of when they were going to do it, or what event, or how it was going to. Um, I didn't know the debate would be the thing. I thought the next day they would defend it, but I'm not surprised at all that they didn't and they went after him. And I knew exactly when they went after him. Okay, I know what's going on. They've made their decision now, and it makes sense because we're getting close to the convention and the election.
yeah. And he's just not he's not getting any good support, man. So I think it's yeah. They just saw the poll numbers and basically his attendance. At all of his rallies, he's not getting anything. So they probably just for sure just jumped on any excuse and just took this one and were like, this he's already done. So let's just make it seem as if it's not his poll numbers that we're worried about. It's basically him that we can't think he
Well,
could.
honestly, it really is basically him. It's not, the poll numbers aren't really the bigger concern. The bigger concern is that it's just too obvious that he's not capable. Like the average Joe can see this without much insight. They don't have to look at it real hard. Just listen to him speak, you're like, and you're not a real political person. You're like, what? Right? This is the president. So it's so obvious that they can't hide it,
Yeah.
and they've known this for quite some time. And so this plan has been in place for quite some time. And so here we are, right? And it's not about whether he can draw crowds or poll numbers. I mean, that's important, but more important is that they can't hide his decline anymore,
Yeah.
and they can't explain it away. And they've been doing that for quite some time, to the best of their ability. He's been like this for a long time, but they're like, we can't do this for 4 more years. There's no fucking way. He's only going to get worse. So there's no way. He has to be replaced because he's going to get worse than he already is. And what he is right now, the average person can see right through it.
To answer one of I think you asked a little while ago, if he's doing it just for the country, because he's trying to be a patriot. I guess he did an interview with George Stephanopoulos, I guess on Friday. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
And I guess in the interview, I don't know how he asked the Stephanopoulos asked him like why are you staying in or some question along those lines, and he says it's because I want to make sure I gave it my best shot. And that clip, I saw it on Fox, and it was a clip from MSNBC. And the MSNBC people, people criticizing Biden, they didn't like that answer at all. They were like, no, it can't be that. Like, this is a serious matter. So basically Biden's kind of making it about himself. Like, oh, I'm going to just give it a shot. That you don't do that. You don't play that type of game, with a presidency and against Trump. Because it's a serious issue that you need somebody that could win, not because you're just gonna give it your best shot and see what happens. So that is basically what he's doing. He's just trying to protect his legacy, and he's not paying attention to the polls himself or paying attention to the people that are in his crowds, like the small little crowds he's gathering.
So I think this is what I think is going on. So I said there's a divide between the White House and the rest of the Democrat and the power brokers, right? The White House is trying to hang on, and the rest of them are going after the White House to get rid of it. Now, this is the caveat to that is I think Biden knows, but the rest of the White House doesn't. So the White House press secretary and the staff, they don't know that Biden already knows that he's stepping down. He knows when he's going to step down. He already probably has his speech written to step down. So but he's got to play the game. They want him to play the game, and his legacy is set. Like, I think his legacy is trash, but a lot of people don't. So if he steps down at the Rose Garden, in a week or a couple weeks or before the convention, he's fine with his legacy. He's been in politics his whole life, senator, vice president, president, and then he got too old and he stepped down, and the people who support him will be fine with that, and it doesn't tarnish his legacy at all that he doesn't run for president again. He doesn't need to for his legacy if you believe he's a good president.
Yeah.
So he's fine with that. I think he already knows that he's out, and he knows when. You know what I mean? But I think the rest, he can't tell the whole White House, you got to worry about things like that. So this is, not everybody's privy to this information, but I think he already knows that he's already voluntarily saying, yes, I'm going to step down, because he's been given his orders by the people who are really in charge. So he's going to do that. He's probably happy to do that. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think is going on. And I think that this is all just a game that they're playing to make it look like, yeah, he fought till the end and whatever. eventually.
Yeah, well,
No,
that would make more sense with what my original theory is, that they're just now this is just a distraction from policies. You know what I mean? Like they haven't really talked about any. I mean, obviously they're there in the background, but the main topic on every channel now is just how we're gonna get rid of Biden. Now it's Biden versus the Democrats, and so yeah, it could be a strategy that they're just trying to just distract from the real
well,
issue.
well, I don't know if they're trying to distract from policies. I think it's more that they're trying to make the American people comfortable with him stepping down is the main thrust here. And think about it, like he's been incoherent for several years, and all of a sudden the media and congressional Democrats and people like that are all of a sudden going, wait, did you see the debate? What's going on there? He's got to go. They've known this all along. It's a game, right? They've been told what to do. They were told to defend him, and then when it was time to not defend him, they were told to attack him because it would make no sense otherwise. Any reasonable person could see that he talks like this all the time. This isn't anything new, right? But they're acting like it's new because it's a game. It's BS. It's all designed to get him out. He was probably on board with leaving. He probably knew about this, but the main thing, it's not about him. It's about the American people making them comfortable and used to the idea that the president's going to step down. Harris is going to be the president for a little bit. And that way it's not a shock. That's what I think's going on. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, well, I mean,
I
no,
think
it's a,
that's what's.
speaking of, you were speaking about his, you don't know if his staff knows exactly what's going on. I kind of yesterday
Yeah, I don't think.
I downloaded a picture of his writing staff, the people that write his speeches. I don't know if you see. Can you see the show? Can you
No.
see the camera on your? I don't know how you do the show.
Yeah, I got the camera.
All right, you see that right there?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that right? 12, 13 people to write his speeches. This is his writing, and there's the Corinne Jean Pierre, whatever, in the background.
See, and isn't
So
that funny? So he goes out and gives us a speech as president of the United States, but it's their words, not
yeah,
his,
but if you
right?
look at it,
This is
it's mostly
the whole thing.
women.
I mean, they're literally posing for a photo, saying, "Look how fake it really all is."
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. I was surprised that many people to write his damn speeches that he fumbles through and messes up all the time.
Yeah,
But yeah, but no. So basically, kind of what you're saying, you don't know if his staff knows.
I don't think they know.
I don't think Obama and Pelosi are talking to these people right here. They're like, you guys ain't
No, no,
nothing.
these people are clueless. I mean,
Yeah,
they might figure it out on their own, but they don't know.
yeah.
I
They're
think that,
just
I
being,
think the media, the Democrats outside of the White House, the power brokers, and Biden
yeah,
know that he's going to step down. These people do not know. And so they're part of the game. Just keep fighting. You got to keep fighting. Biden will tell them, keep fighting, right? Until it's time to step down. Meanwhile, the people outside of the White House are going to be pushing the narrative that, hey, maybe he's too old, maybe he's too old, which they've seen this for a couple of years now. So it's nothing new. Now they're all surprised, but they're going to keep pushing what they're told to push. The United States media is nothing more than United States propaganda. Might as well be in Russia or China because it's nothing more than that. They're lying to you the whole time. If they're not lying, they're complete morons,
yeah.
right?
Really,
How could you not see this from? How could you not see him every other time he talked? You guys are anchors and newscasters who've been covering his presidency for his whole presidency, and he's been talking like this the whole time. But all of a sudden, you're surprised. They're not surprised. They're lying.
yeah,
And then people still turn it on and go, I wonder what the news is going to say. It's not news, it's state run propaganda.
yeah,
And you know it is. Even if you like him, you know it is now based on what I'm telling you. These guys have known this all along. How could they all of a sudden be surprised? It's a lie. They've been lying to you and in your face.
yeah, for sure. Even well on Twitter, you know that director Rob Reiner.
Yeah.
You see, even
Media.
he, yeah, even he's like having a meltdown. He's turning on Biden. He wants him to drop out. But that fool, oh my god, that guy on Twitter, man, he pissed me off, man. He's just
He's
anti-Trump
an
to
idiot. He's a moron.
the. That's a
It's a
damn
funny,
shame. It's a damn
stupid
shame. Just all
people.
these freaking celebrities, man. Oh yeah, this is disappointment,
Well,
man.
they get paid. They get
Yeah,
paid to
well, you
do
know,
it.
well, you're just they're actors and directors, and you just want to, you've always been fans of theirs. Like even all the way up to Steven Spielberg. Supposedly Steven Spielberg's like doing a bunch of stuff for Biden. Like, Jesus Christ.
Like some of them, they're just playing the game and they're getting paid. They're smart enough to see through what's going on, and they
Yeah,
just want money, so they'll get paid as like an influencer, basically, which Democrats do pay a lot of influencers, whether they're celebrities or just on TikTok or whatever. But I think someone like Rob Reiner, I don't think they have to pay him because there's some people that are just not that bright,
no,
but they think they are, and they go out there and shout from the top of the rooftops that this is my guy. He's so good, no matter what happens, and he might be turning on now, but like, look what it took. You're not that bright,
yeah,
right? Like, and you didn't even turn on him till the media told you to turn on him. And I don't think he's even getting paid. I think he's a freebie. You know,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
just he's just a dumb person who's just being led by the propaganda and doesn't have a clue.
yeah. There's a bunch of people on Twitter that post stuff almost very similar to his, and it's just stuff that kind of agitates. It's just meant to like piss Trump supporters off more than anything. Because I'll go to the comments, they'll have a lot of likes, but the comments will be all just anti what they said. It'll be all Trump supporters talking shit, and they don't respond. So it's just they just post that, throw it out there, and just piss people off. And that's what he's been doing basically. Right in the middle of the Trump trials, he was just talking all kinds of shit, man. Like, oh yeah, he's gonna be wearing orange real soon, and you're like, man, you're just a this is the people I was telling you about way before, man. Like just a hateful person, man. Kicking Trump when he's down, knowing damn well that it's all set up to keep him out of the race, and you're still gonna be like that. But Dread, I don't know if you know that actress Dread Mateo. She was in The Sopranos, and she was on Sons of Anarchy. I don't know if you ever.
What did he play in The Sopranos?
She was the wife of the nephew.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
yeah,
pretty hot.
yeah, that chick. She just started
Yeah.
like an OnlyFans or something. She made some headlines over that. I guess
Okay.
because she was on Sons of Anarchy too. She was the wife of the main guy, the ex,
Okay.
and I guess she just kind of stopped getting hired, and I guess she was gonna lose her like house, and she was just like broke completely. She was about to lose her house, and she started an OnlyFans, and right away she said she paid off her house like cash practically that from OnlyFans. So anyway, she was on Brian Kilmeade on Fox the other day, like last week, and she claims that she knows for a fact that there's way more Trump supporters in Hollywood than would reveal that they're letting on. That they're all scared. They're all scared to come out, but she thinks that there's way more. And so she was on there telling them, like, just come out, just don't be afraid, like, you all see what Biden's policies are. And she said she didn't even vote for Trump, but that she's just seen the last 4 years. And so she's saying there's a lot more people in Hollywood that support Trump, but they're just scared, man. So I guess
Well, and I'm sure there are, and that's what's backfired on the Democrats. Like, it's funny because they call Trump and Trump supporters fascists, yet they're the ones that have everybody afraid to have their own thought and speak, which is
yeah,
fascism 101, right? So the
yeah,
fascists want to call people fascists, but the funny thing is like this backfired on them, right? So they got everyone afraid to speak and support their candidate. And in 2016, that got Trump elected
yeah,
because when they were taking polls and trying to get the pulse of the voter, a lot of Trump supporters were like, they would just lie or not answer questions, right? So the polls were all skewed. And it was like Hillary Clinton's got this in the bag. No, you guys made everyone shut up with your Nazi tactics. While you're calling people Nazis, you're acting like Nazis,
yeah.
and you got people to shut up. But you didn't stop them from voting. You messed up there, brown shirts. And so all these people who didn't talk or they would lie to you so you wouldn't cancel them or attack them, ended up voting for Trump. So it backfired on you. You got the people to be quiet, but you didn't silence their vote. So the next election, 2020, then they silenced their vote or they changed the vote because
Yeah.
that tactic didn't work the first time. They realized, hey, we got everyone to shut up, but we didn't actually change their minds.
And they were, I mean, when you think about it, they were already pulling all this, like you said, brown shirt stuff, fascist shit with what they did with Bernie Sanders. I remember thinking like, why the hell is it a bigger deal that Debbie Wasserman Schultz rigged the primaries for Hillary? Like, Bernie Sanders was getting all his momentum, like everything was building up around him, and he doesn't even get the nomination, and then it comes out later that, yeah, the Democrats like basically they just wrote him
Rigged
out,
the
like, so they were already pulling that bullshit even on Bernie
Yeah,
Sanders way back
yep,
then.
yep. And that's because it's not really the Democrats. It is the Democrats who actually put it into play, but they're being given their orders by the power brokers, which is the rich and the elite behind the scenes. And this is what I keep saying is like people are fooled in America and around the world that it's the right versus the left, conservative versus liberal, ideology versus ideology. It's not. It's the elite rich versus the rest of us. They want to control all of us. And meanwhile, they got fighting with each other, which is divide and conquer. And they've got control. And it's working beautifully for them. But they've had some hiccups here, Trump being the biggest hiccup, which is damn near they're throwing up. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's not Democrats that are really rigging it. They're doing it, but they're being given their orders by the rich and powerful who are paying them and controlling them.
Yeah. Saw some new account on Twitter that I'd never seen. He made like a little documentary about. I guess they had a Davos convention recently. You know Davos, right? Those
Yeah,
kind of the World Economic Forum type of things. They had it
yeah,
in China, I guess, recently, and then he was just he made a documentary, like a little video, like just saying that it got no coverage, no press coverage. So it just tells. I mean, I don't know. I just really Trump winning goes against everything these people are planning, man. Like, and they're going all the way to China, and it's all the richest people, the highest intellectuals, everybody just coming with these theories on how that he has some clips in this video how they're talking about they want to start taxing nature, that basically just like just water. They're
yeah.
just trying to find different ways, and all under climate change. They think they're doing it for a righteous reason, but it's
Right. No,
really, but doing it in China, you don't damn well. It's just for like a global fascist system that they're trying to put together. They love what China did, and that's what they're trying
right.
to do. So it made me think about something that bugged me when Trump won the first state in the primary,
Uh,
and how everybody was just like so happy. It was like a big deal, like on the news. And then what's his face? John Kerry goes in front of the WEF. I don't know if it was around that same week that they had one, and he tells them all like, "Don't worry, like no one politician is gonna stop what we're doing. Our plans are set." And he said this like on camera and everything, like, so our plans are still gonna, we're still gonna fulfill our plans. And so I just, oh man, it's just so much, it's just so much up, I mean, this year, man. Like, it's do or die. Like, no dope. These guys just
you
really
know,
they want Chinese system all over the world, and
yeah, they do. This is what it's really all about, and that's why Trump is such a. That's why they go after him so hard is because he was a big problem in their plan that they did not expect, and they didn't take seriously, and it backfired on him because he became the president. They got everyone to shut up, and then the people elected him. They thought that they did their job. They didn't take him seriously. There's 17 Republicans running. He's a joke. Everyone's laughing about it, and he wins. And then he's an actual American and an actual person who cares about his actual country. It isn't about trying to make a one world government. And so he's really throwing wrenches into their plans. That's why he's got 90 whatever indictments and all this crap, more
yeah,
indictments than anybody in the history of the human race without there's not a dead body.
yeah,
But that's that it's exactly what's happening. They're going for a one world government, and that's what's going on behind the scenes. Got to weaken the United States in order to get that. And weaken the United States means to weaken the American people's economic power. That's why the minimum wage is going up. That's why the price inflation is going up, because
No.
they're trying to just slowly take away your money. They don't do like to do it like real quick, put the military in the street and just take your stuff. They're just going to do a slow roll on you. And that's exactly what they're doing. And half the country's cheering it along, going, yeah, we like the Democrats. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of the Republicans are corrupt too, but it's ultimately it's not about Democrat or Republican. It's about the rich and powerful and those who they control. They control people on both sides of the aisle, and their ultimate goal, the people who are running things, one world government, and they need to strip people. They want the rich and poor, nothing in the middle. And so, all you people who, if you're not rich or poor, they're coming after you, but they're doing it in a slow roll. So you're not wise, right? You just think, oh, well, we'll deal with this issue. Well, what about that issue? What about this issue? You never actually see the real motivation behind it is to strip you of your power, which strips you of your ability to even stand up to the government, have a voice.
Yeah.
They'll be in complete control of you when you're completely dependent on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I hope. I really do hope Trump eventually starts being more vocal about World Economic Forum. I hope he really just starts calling out that whole organization, man, and just maybe puts. I think I'd said it before, man. That maybe just literally just tells them like, if I become president, I'm gonna declare them a criminal organization. You know, a terrorist organization for all their policies, their draconian policies that they want to implement all over the world, based on climate change, which many dispute. Many scientists still dispute. So hopefully he calls them out, and I'd always hope, man, that he would do basically what we're talking about is just calling out as far as Biden, just saying that Biden's not running the country and just making like an issue of that, making that like a topic. Like, Biden's not running the country. You already see how he talks. There's no way this man's making these decisions. It's people in the government, and basically scare the shit out of people. Just tell them like, no matter even if they replace Biden, those same policies are going to be in place because he's not running the government. He's not making the decisions. You're going to be voting for unelected officials that have a globalist agenda, and then lead into World Economic Forum and just start talking about how they want. Hopefully he does all that shit, man. Like, if he just keeps blaming Biden and the Democrats and just keeping it, I don't know, I guess it's a strategy to keep it that simple, but he needs to open it up and just really educate people, man. I think
Well,
that might be a good strategy, just to let them know what's on the line. Like, it's not just Democrats, a national issue in America. It's a globalist fucking system that these people want to implement, and that's why the same things are happening in England, in Italy, like with the immigration policies, like everything. Like, it's the same thing is happening all over the world. So it's not just isolated to here, but I don't
yeah,
know.
and I think he gets in. You're going to see a whole lot more um, revealed.
Yeah.
But I would say so for climate change, for anybody who actually believes this is an actual thing that isn't a fear mongering in order to control the population. Explain this to me. How is it it's on the cover of Newsweek and Time Magazine? You can go back and look at this. You can look up the cover of Newsweek and Time Magazine, the big freeze. All the scientists agreed in the 70s that the United States and the world was going into the Earth is cooling down and we're going into a big freeze. They
Oh
have a
yeah.
picture on the front of it with everyone like some guy frozen. So, and we had more pollution then. We didn't even have regulations then. So the pollution then was going to cause the world to cool down and we're all going to freeze. Now the same pollution is causing the world to heat up. So and all the scientists agreed then, it didn't happen. Well, you got all your scientists now that you claim agree now. Well, which is it? Is it freezing or heating up, right? You guys really think you control the atmosphere in the world? I mean, I'm sure pollution has a degree of a small effect on the environment, but we've done a lot as far as emissions from the 70s till now. Back in the 70s and 80s, you couldn't even see mountains in California. It was so smoggy. Yet we were going into a big freeze. according to scientists, that didn't happen. So if you can't see the game they're running on you, this is just a tool to scare you. Fear is a powerful, maybe the most powerful motivator. So they want to scare you. Just like, oh, if you elect Trump, he's going to destroy democracy. Coming from fascists, coming from the elite rich people that want to take away your freedom, telling you, hey, be afraid of the guy who. These guys are fear mongers and pathological liars who are trying to control the world and get everyone subservient to them. No buying power, no power at all. We're the rich, we're the elite. This is our world. You're just lucky to live in it and serve. And that's what they want to do to you. And they don't give a crap if you're a Democrat or a Republican. So all the middle class Democrats out there, they played you out. And if they get their way, you're going to have nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And they don't care. They're not going to go, oh, well, Sue from Covina, she's been a loyal Democrat all along. Now that we've got the whole world under control, us rich people, let's bring Sue along. No, Sue, clean my house, and be happy with the scraps I give you. That's what it's going to be. They're just using you to take full control of the world. And a lot of people are just cheering it on because they get so emotional about the divide and conquer tactics they use with, whatever it may be, climate change, racism, whatever. These are all just tactics. They don't care about any of these things. All they care about is money and power. You don't have any. You're not one of them.
The climate change thing, it reminded me of this clip I saw the other day. I was able to download it and watch it real quick. This is the founder of, he owns this fucking guy. It's so funny. The founder of the Weather Channel, and he's anti-climate change, so he doesn't believe it's real. Want to check it out real quick? Mm-hmm. All right, here it goes.
I am. He's the CEO of the Weather Channel now. I was the founder of the Weather Channel, not the co-founder.
And I'm glad you did, because I am addicted to the Weather Channel. I watch a lot of cable news.
Now, hold on just a minute. I'm not done. And CNN has taken a very strong position on global warming that it is a consensus. Well, there is no consensus in science. Science isn't a vote. Science is about facts. And if you get down to the hard, cold facts, there's no question about it. Climate change is not happening. There is no significant man-made global warming now. There hasn't been any in the past, and there's no reason to expect any in the future. There's a whole lot of baloney, and yes, it has become a big political point of the Democratic Party and part of their platform, and I regret it's become political instead of scientific, but the science is on my side.
I don't think we're going to come to a conclusion about the topic right here. What I do wonder,
I know
though,
we're
is when
not,
you
because
see
you wouldn't allow it to happen on CNN. But I'm happy that I got on the air and got a chance to talk to your viewers. Hello, everybody. There is no global warming.
What I do wonder is when you see the government, when you see NASA, when you see other institutions say that 97% of climate scientists agree, do you think they're making it up? What I don't understand is how you square that.
That's a manipulated figure, and let me explain it to you. The government puts out about $2.5 billion directly for climate research every year. It only gives that money to scientists who will produce scientific results that support the global warming hypothesis of the Democrat Party position. So they don't have any choice. If you're going to get the money, you got to support their position. Therefore, 97% of the scientific reports published support global warming. Why? Because those are the ones the government pays for, and that's where the money is. It's real simple, but that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't make it true. That only makes it bought and paid for. The money goes in circles.
I'm not a scientist, so I'm not going to try to refute you on the facts.
That's the truth.
I'll simply say that the
please
vast
stand
majority...
back from this issue and let the two sides be on the air.
That was funny, man.
I love that guy.
Yeah,
I am. He's the CEO of the Weather Channel now.
All right. Yeah, I saw that the other day, man. I had everybody cracking up, but there it is. So he kind of explains it, how they do it. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but shit, that blatant, like
how
just
everything's done.
Yeah, man, but when it comes to scientists and science, you know what I mean? These people, they're a little more passionate about the things they do. So you think they wouldn't sell out just for like funding? But fuck, I guess.
Why not?
I guess there's a price for everything, you know. So
Why would you? I mean, I would say, why would anybody expect them not to? If you're getting paid a lot of money to say a certain thing, most people don't have any qualms about that. They're going to be okay. Yeah, I can pay
but
all my bills, buy a bigger house. Sure.
But see,
Yeah,
that's
climate change.
that's even more reason for it to be called out. That's why I really hope Trump does it, to where even to where it's such a topic. It's just the only thing that, oh, Trump's talking about the World Economic Forum, and make the World Economic Forum like go viral, and make scientists that are falsifying information to please this World Economic Forum agenda, make them, you know, start being ashamed of themselves. You know, like, fuck, what are we doing?
They're
We're over
they're
here
not
making fake
named.
facts for these people, like they want to kill, reduce the population of the world, like that's their real agenda. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
So
they're not ever going to be ashamed. They know exactly what they're doing. You're talking about people without morals. No
well,
shame.
well, I'm talking about scientists. So I would think scientists, you know, they're
Oh,
usually scientists grow up their whole lives, passionate about whatever they end up being, but what they end up doing in science. But for them to sell out for money, just and be supporting, unless they're just not paying attention, they're just like bookworms or, nerds that don't really, look outside of their what they're researching, and don't realize that the World Economic Forum is using all their fake facts to push all these laws around the world. And
well, shame
I like
doesn't
how.
motivate money. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say real quick. Somebody phrased it the other day, and it's kind of funny how they're. I don't know. I never thought about it that way. How they're implementing laws. I forgot what the one law they that they're not they're that these laws for like based on climate change to like reduce carbon and all this bullshit, like them making a big deal about cow farts and stuff like that. That all these things, all these policies that they're trying to put in place, like in different places in the country, that they're not laws that are voted on by people. That they're doing all these things by decree. And then I never thought about that kind of concept of a decree and shit. Like, yeah, they just say, all right, now this is illegal because it's based on climate change, but yet nobody voted on it, and they're just trying to get away with all these little laws here and there, and that's probably what they're going to keep
Well, they're
going with.
doing that. They're doing that with everything. Like I've seen
Yeah,
congressional hearings about the Second Amendment, and where they're so Congress makes laws, and then it's up to the department that's directly affected by that to enforce those laws. So, like the ATF, they'll make a law about what is it, bump stocks.
yeah,
Now, bump stocks were never made illegal, but the ATF, there's a thing called, I don't remember the name of it, but anyway, it gives, and it looks like they're gonna, but it gives agencies, when the law is vague, gives them latitude to um, put in place policies that they think follow the law. So anyway, the ATF is, but basically the ATF is just making laws
yeah.
that Congress never made. And when you go to Congress, and Congress says, we didn't give you that authority. What law is that? And they go, well, we're reading between the lines and this and that. And the thing about it is they're answering to the voice of the people, Congress, and they're going, we don't care. We're going to do whatever we want anyway. What are you going to do about it? Well, we'll recommend you to the DOJ for prosecution. Great. The DOJ's in our pocket.
Yeah.
They're part of it. No one's going to prosecute us. And that's the other element of how they've done all this. They control the media, they control the federal law enforcement agencies, and they control the Congress and politicians.
Well, then it makes
That's
sense. It makes sense
really all.
with the whole concept. So yeah, basically the concept of a decree I've never thought about, and a decree, fuck, it makes me think of like the 1700s, and that's how kings used to, make their laws for all their peasants and all that shit through the decree.
Yep.
But it makes me think of exactly what's happening in China, like what we had talked about in the past about them having to go register their knives. Like everybody, it's the same concept. It's a decree. All right, we have this new rule now. If you have a knife, you have to register it with the government, and it's the same shit. Like, it's just the same thing that's going on here, just the same concept. So yeah, it's just pretty interesting that they already have a system in place, and they're already doing it like right under our noses, to pass all these stupid laws.
Yeah, and in the United States, like you hit it on the nose. Like we do have we we have what we think, or a lot of people believe, is a representative republic democracy. But really, if that's the case, how come Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and all these politicians are uber wealthy?
Yeah.
Because they're part of the royal family. You don't get uber wealthy as a public servant. You get uber wealthy as a connected, you know, politician. That's really you're really part of the royal family. It's a facade that that's why they want to get rid of Biden, because the facade is breaking down with. They need somebody else to keep that facade up that, hey, you people actually have a choice. And we're actually for you. They're not. They're the royalty. The American royalty is for the American royalty. And when I say American royalty, I mean Congress people, senators, and the people behind the scenes that are already stupid rich. But they're controlling all these people and making them stupid rich for doing their bidding. I mean, let me look up Pelosi's wealth. I want to really get it right. So keep in mind, she's a public.
She's probably half a millionaire, I think. Half a billionaire, sorry. I think it's up there.
No, yeah, it says 171.4 million. And that's what we.
Oh, okay.
171 million. Now, how does she get that? Let's see what her salary. So she makes $223,000 a year, but she's worth 171 million. Now, that's amazing. How do you do that? Because what would 200? What would $250,000 be?
Well, I'd seen a graphic before where it breaks down by a year, and there's certain years it just shoots up high for all of them. I'm pretty sure I've seen one about her, but I know for sure I've seen one about like presidents. And Bill Clinton was one of the highest paid presidents when he during his time. Like he got out of nowhere, he got like a lot of money, like in the second term.
So her salary over 30 years, at her current salary, which is higher than it has been in the past, if she had this salary, she wouldn't even have $7 million. But she's got 171 million.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? And she had to pay bills.
Yeah.
Right?
And she lives in California and pays taxes and all that shit.
Wait, let me see if I did that math right. She had 223,000 times 30. Yeah, 7 million.
Yeah.
No, she's made,
for sure there's insider trading. Yeah, they're doing for sure insider trading. So.
But it's not just that. She's getting envelopes, all kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, fuck, I don't know how the hell she's been able to. I mean, but all of the politicians do it. All of them could take little monies here and there. I told you that even Rand Paul, he was supposed to be like a champion for the Constitution. Like he took money from TikTok. Like, so they all do it one way or another, as innocent as it might be. But that amount, that's an exaggeration right there, man. You know what I mean? Like she's over $100 million past what her real wealth should be.
Well, she has 171 million. She would have made at most 7 million off her salary, right? So, and you get speaking engagements, we'll give her 20 million. Okay, then she had to pay for her house, she had to pay her bills and all that, so you don't keep most of that anyway. So where did the other 150 million come from?
Yeah.
Welcome to the American kingdom.
That's just crazy though, too, to think, what the hell is she gonna do with all that money? She's not gonna spend that in her lifetime. Like, what the hell does she want? It's just crazy. Like, even her kids or her grandchildren, like, shit, that's like way more than to spread out. Like, they can't even spend all that money. So, she's gonna live probably what, like, I don't know. Her being a woman, I guess she's gonna live like another 10 years. She's gonna die like when she's 100. She's like 87 or something like that. She's old.
Oh yeah, she's pretty old.
Yeah, so I mean, but yeah, I mean, and yeah, so to accumulate that much money to make it that suspicious and obvious, like, what the hell are you gonna do with all that money? Like, why the hell would you go that far? You know, put a light on the fact that for sure you're insider trading, and you're just putting a spotlight on the whole thing. Especially her being, you know what I mean, like who she is. She's like a top Democrat. So these people are just careless and stupid, I guess. I don't know.
Oh no, they're very, and they just keep playing the game, and people keep buying it. They divide, and while you're divided and fighting over whether boys are girls and girls are boys and what bathroom they should use, they're busy ripping everybody off and getting millions and millions of dollars out of it. Um,
Well, well, for sure, yeah. It's there's some sort of play, something going on. Maybe that we don't see, or maybe we do. Maybe we have already called out what the hell the strategy is, and we just don't know. But
yeah, what's crazy is I was going to bring up is AI, right? So AI right now can write a novel or a symphony in 5 seconds,
oh, really?
and AI is in its infancy. So this is like a hunky version of what AI will become. So if you do the logical take logical steps on that just off the top of the head, it's kind of like, so if this thing can write a novel that takes most people months, if not years, to write in 5 seconds, it's thinking millions of times faster than really smart people. So we, for the first time in human history, we have something that can outthink humans on a massive scale, right?
Yeah.
So you put this in the hands of evil actors, and we're it looks to me like we're going to have no choice, because we're going to be controlled by people who have the best AI technology, because they'll be able to just have AI run simulations on different things, like how do we keep people in check, how do we keep people um, from figuring this out, how do we control the population, right? And if we do, what will they do, and then how do we act there? And AI, by the way, AI, how can we make a better version of AI? And then AI will tell you how to do that. Somewhere along the line, it's going to be, it already is, but it'll be more advanced to where you won't be able to, there, you'll have zero chance, human population will have zero chance of outthinking the AI. The AI will be our controller, and whoever controls the AI will control us, because they'll be able to anticipate every single move we make a billion faster than we can even make them.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out, but it's going to be so big of a difference in how quick it can figure out decisions that based on what we can do, that we'll never be able to even catch up with it.
The last time we talked, I think it was off the show when I told you about that show I watched about DARPA. I don't know if you ever checked it out.
No,
I
I
forgot. I
haven't checked
forgot
it
what
out.
DARPA stands for, but yeah. That show basically what the point was there's this organization called DARPA, and this guy says that that's where the internet came from. That's where touch screens came from. That all this stuff, like everything, basically all modern technology, it all came from basically a government organization called DARPA that they just
Yeah,
work.
it's the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, is a research and development agency
Yeah,
of the States Department
so
of Defense.
that's saying that we've always heard that the government has technology that's like 30 years, beyond what we have right now. Yeah, it's. I think it's from this organization that they've had this. They've had touch screens, and they've had AI or internet, whatever, like 20 years before it would ever come out. Like in the early 80s, they had internet, like, according to this video. So as far as AI, I think that's what I was going to tell you. That yeah, AI is barely coming out right now, but they probably do have like a super advanced version right now, and they're probably
Well,
using
and
it
the
for.
the funny thing is like, once you have AI, you don't have to sit there and work on how can we make AI better. You
Yeah,
just tell AI, hey, how can we make you better?
yeah,
And it outthinks you by a million to one. Like I said, I'm just throwing out a number there, but it's way faster than any human could think. and it will tell you how to make it better. And then you just put in that code, and then move on, and then just keep doing that, and eventually you have this super AI. We already have, but super AI that will be so complex that it will be able to fool everybody, be able to make holograms. You won't be able to tell reality from fiction.
Yeah.
You won't be able to discern what's going on at all. It will have complete control of the human race, whoever controls that, because you will have the human brain is the most complex thing ever in existence. For the first time in human history, we have something that can outthink it.
Yeah.
Even computers, they can outthink the human brain, sort of. But when you play chess against a computer, a lot of chess players do pretty well, and a lot of times they lose. I think the computer beats them more, so it's close. This isn't even close.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
I
mean,
hate playing computer on chess. It's just impossible.
huh?
Even if you
Yeah,
change the setting and they let you win, you just still feel like I didn't do shit. It's gonna just let me win.
right.
Well, yeah. Well, that kind of makes me think. I don't know if that was gonna be my point that time, but oh, I think I brought it up on our show before. Like, if maybe there is like an AI system so advanced, and these people have it, and it kind of makes sense as to the question I've asked a bunch of times during the show is why they're so damn confident. You know what I mean? These policies that the Democrats put in place, the immigration policy, economic policies that are now leading to inflation, the policy, the foreign policies and all that stuff. If them knowing that they were doing that when election time came, how the hell were they going to justify that unless that how they justify that and still have the confidence that they have, like they're arrogant, you know what I mean, like on liberal news stations, and then the politicians, Democratic politicians. And to me, it would make kind of sense if they did have like some sort of AI that they just asked maybe 5 years ago, how do we get these policies in place? How do we get the system around the world? They asked the question, they typed it in, and the super AI started saying, start doing these things, and just listed off everything that they had to do. I mean,
Right, and that's
that could
probably
be possible. Shit, you never know.
they probably did do that, but their arrogance and confidence come from the fact that they have the law enforcement in their pockets. So even if they get caught doing anything, they're not going to be prosecuted, unless it's like caught stupid, right? You did something really stupid and they can't really hide it, or they can't really schmooze it over. But for the most part, they're not going to do anything. So that's where their confidence comes from. Maybe AI told them that. But think about it: if you had AI, like a really good version, like Department of Defense version right now, you could ask it, "Hey, what stock should I bet on? What can I do to get rich?" You can ask it anything, and it's gonna be able to think way better than you and make way better decisions than you could. And
Yeah.
at some point, somebody somewhere, some government or some person is going, like Elon Musk, is going to have a super advanced version of AI. Somebody, I think, somewhere is going to make leaps and bounds over the rest of the AI in the world. They're going to figure it out. Like, we can get AI to create new AIs that are better and better and better, right? We can get AI. Why would you try to improve AI when you have AI? Just use the AI to improve itself, and you make this super advanced one. And then that's why I think we're in the end days, because this is all in the Bible and Revelation, that truth will be false, right will be wrong. That's all over the place. People are saying the craziest stuff, like, men can get pregnant, all this weird stuff that has just never happened before. And then it says that the Antichrist is going to come along, and he's going to be looked at like God. People are going to think he's God,
Yeah.
and he's going to be able to do miracles, so people will believe he's God. And that's AI. That's some super
Yeah.
advanced version of AI. Like, one person or one government has this AI, and they use it to conquer the world and make the world think that that this person's God, and then everyone's going to start following him. And it says even the elect would be fooled if they could. That's how good it's going to be. And the elect in the Bible mean the Christians who know who Jesus really is. So we know that if anybody comes along and says that they're God or Jesus or anything now, we know it's a lie. That's the only way we would know, because
Yeah.
it's going to be so fantastically um,
fool us. And I can't even imagine what all it's going to be able to do. But holograms and things like that, you won't be able to distinguish reality from truth, and things will be happening that you're like, there's no way.
Yeah.
This has to be God, right? And so I think we are towards the end of days. We got rights, wrong. The truth is fiction. Fiction's truth, and then you have something that can outthink the human brain. And it says in there, if Jesus doesn't come back at that time, no one would survive.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be so advanced that we're all going to be basically useless. We're not going to be able to do anything about it,
Yeah.
and we won't even understand what's going on. It'll be so out of our understanding that it's like it's got to be God. And so if you don't already know the story of Jesus and that Jesus came and he is God, then if you don't believe that and somebody comes along and does this in front of your face, you're going to be like, yep, that's God. And that's exactly what it says is going to happen. The people are going to be fooled by it, and they're going to follow him. And that's when the Antichrist and the one world government is set up. We're going towards a one world government. That's obvious to anybody with a brain. The Bible says that's exactly what's going to happen. The Antichrist is going to come along, do all these miracles. People are going to think he's God. He's going to set up a one world government, and they're going to worship him. AI is going to make that.
I can't remember what group it was that has this theory or this belief of the second coming of Christ, that they don't think the second coming of Christ is gonna be that person is gonna be like how we picture Jesus, like a gentle white man that's just walking around in a robe and he's polite.
No,
they think it's gonna be
not.
like a strong man, like it's gonna be like a
It is
like an alpha male.
no, it is. It tells you exactly in Revelation what
Oh, really?
Jesus
Yeah.
how he's going to come and what he's going to look like and what he's going to do. The second time he comes down on a white horse with a sword in his mouth. He pulls the sword out, and the sword is the sword of judgment. And he comes to conquer the earth and lay down his judgment. And he's followed by masses of angels and they're all coming what it says is they're basically coming to cut down the wheat, which is the humans, right? It's going to separate the wheat from the chaff. The chaff is the part of the wheat that you don't eat.
Yeah.
So when you make bread, you that's what they do. They separate those. The chaff goes into the fire, and the wheat goes with God. So the Christian, the believer in Jesus Christ, goes with God, and the rest of it is laid to judgment, and they're found guilty, and they're going to hell.
Yeah.
And so when all this is happening with the Antichrist, then Jesus comes down and goes, I don't think so. I'm God, right? And he lays waste to the earth and takes up his and eliminates the rest. But no, it tells exactly how he's coming, and he's coming with a sword of judgment.
Not in a robe.
It's all like
barefoot.
in there, flowing white with a golden crown on his head, and he has a name on it that no one can read, and things like that. So it's a very different depiction of him. It's him in his full glory. When he came to earth first time, he came to us as God in the flesh, and he came to save us. So those who would believe in the Son of Man or the Son of God are saved. Then you're supposed to go and spread that message. His message has been brought. Now we all have an opportunity to go there and believe. And then he's giving people time to do that. And then he's going to let these things develop. And then it gets to a point where no one would survive what the world has become, AI. And so at that point, he comes and takes his and lays down judgment on.
Well, in the clip where I heard that, I don't know if they were.
You should read Revelation, dude. If nothing else, wow,
Revelation?
what an amazingly interesting book.
Which one? Revelations?
There is some stuff going to be laid down on earth, like serious.
Which chapter? You say Revelation? I'm sorry.
Bible. It's Revelation. It's the end of days.
Okay.
Revelation.
That might have been one of the chapters I have read there. But it was a long time ago, so I probably
don't read the King James version though, because that's the one that hasn't been fixed. It's weird because the King James version is different than all the other versions of the Bible.
Aren't they
Because
all
the
King
King,
James versions now? Isn't he one
no,
of them? No.
we got the NIV, the EIV. I'd read one of those because the King James version, Revelation, was written by a guy back in like I think the 1600s. I can't remember his name, but he didn't have all of the text of Revelation when he translated it. So, but he was on a rush to get it published.
Really?
So he just interpreted what he thought the other parts were. And so it's funny because I was reading both of them, the King James and the NIV, and I didn't know that this is the only book in the King James that is incorrect. And they never fixed it. And I was like, man, this sounds like two different stories, but there's so much going on that you're like, it's hard to even know that it's two different stories because Revelation, the actual story that's in the other Bibles, the NIV, the EIV, etc., that version is the correct version, and it's written by John the apostle, who basically given this all from Jesus himself. He basically given all this whole story. Jesus tells him, write this down, and tells him plenty of times, write this down, write this down. But what goes on? Oh my gosh. So right before Revelation, Jesus comes back. The whole world will see him. It says that, which means internet, right? Obviously, he's going to come down over the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem, and the whole world will see it. At that time, he raises the dead that are saved, and he takes the saved that are alive, and they're all taken up to heaven, and everyone else is left. And now Revelation begins, or the tribulation begins, and at that point, it's hell on earth, bro. You do be there. It is going to be bad, and it lasts for 7 years, and you're going to have the mark of the beast at that time, and if you don't, you can't buy and sell. And if you get caught without the mark of the beast, they'll behead you. They're going to kill you. So most people that don't get the mark of the beast get killed. Some turn to God, some don't. And then at the end of the 7 years, the judgment's laid down finally for everybody. Those who haven't accepted God are cast into the lake of fire, also for eternal life.
Well, could our cell phones be the mark of the beast? That's basically
No, well,
how it's
I
going to
don't
work.
think so. I think you're actually going to have a mark because it says on your forehead or on your hand. So it actually says there's going to be a mark on you,
Yeah.
like a tattoo.
Before the cell phone, people always thought the mark of the beast would be like a chip that you have to put underneath, and they already had those. They're already kind of promoting those for a little while before it's like smartphones.
Well, people are putting it in their hands, like in Sweden.
Yeah, yeah.
So that could very well be it, but I don't know. For me, I'm not too concerned about it because I ain't going to be here.
Yeah.
You know, I know Jesus is God, so I'm good, right? When this all begins, I'm out of here. Thank God. You don't want to be there for that. But you can see how it's funny because Bible, this is written 2,000 years ago, over 2,000 years ago, and it's telling us at the end of Jesus says, they ask him, what will the end of days be like? He said, first thing he always says is, don't let anyone fool you. Do not be fooled. There will be many that come in my name. And then it talks about how right will be wrong will be right, truth will be false, etc. So you got men being women, women being men getting pregnant. Just everything is backwards, right? It's never been so backwards in history. Then it says there will be an antichrist that comes along and do great miracles, and everyone will be convinced it's God. So powerful that they're going to fall for it, and he's going to create a one world government. And you can see we're on that. If you don't take the Bible out of the picture, you can see that this is what's happening. Then you read it in the Bible, and it's right there describing it. And this is from John the Apostle, like in the 1st century.
No. You know, it's funny. I remember reading. I think was
Or
it
maybe
Thomas Jefferson thinks that they should never have included the Revelations in the Bible. He thought it was like outrageous.
Well, he's wrong, because if it was wrong, how did it describe exactly what's going on right now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the whole.
God,
That's
no,
what I think is the kind of the miracle of the whole Bible. That there's, I've read a bunch of parts. I've heard about a lot of parts of it. how a book that was written, words that were put down 2,000 years ago have so much relevance today. Like, just, and not even relevance in like things that are going on in the world, but just like emotions, and things of life, and just how
I mean, that's that.
it's transferred for 2,000 years, and you could still like get
But
knowledge and wisdom out of it. Like, it's crazy.
well, and that's absolutely true and great. And even I think a stronger point for someone who isn't like on board with the Bible is the Bible has several predictions or prophecies that are written way before they actually happen, and most of them happen, and some still haven't. Like Revelation hasn't happened yet, but we are getting close to it, and he told us what it would look like. But for instance, I'll take Israel. That's a big topic of the day. In the Old Testament, God says, because Israel is not being obedient to God, and that's God's chosen people at that time. And he says, because of your disobedience, I'm gonna break you up and scatter you across the globe. You will have no land of your own. And for 2,000 years, Israel was broken up and spread across the globe, and they didn't have any country. And then it says later, but I will bring you back together. And now they have a country, 1948. So for 2,000 years, he spread across the world. Now he has brought them back together. That's like one of the first elements of Revelation. That's happened. And so you can see, like, they wrote this. This is like 4,000 years ago this was written. And then it's written before it happened. And no one disputes that, because this stuff is way older than Israel. Or it's way older than when Israel was split up and scattered. So they predicted that and happened. And there's multiple things like that in the Bible that the Bible says this is going to happen. And then it happens. And every bit of historical and archaeological stuff that says has been proven 100% correct. They thought like he was just a fictitious person they put in the Bible. That's the guy, governor of Judea, who crucified Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not that long ago, they found some remains in Judea of like a tablet with Pontius Pilate's name on it and his title.
Oh yeah, I think I heard
Yeah.
about that.
So I mean, on and on and on. These critics say, "Well, this is false. This is false," and then archaeological find will prove it true. Not one thing in the Bible said historically has ever been proven wrong through archaeology. Everything that the Bible said is 100% accurate that they've been able to find. They've never been able to disprove anything. So, I mean, and on and on and on. There's so many things. Like even in Old Testament, God says, "I will hang the earth from a string, and it will move, and it will not move." Now we know it moves, it rotates, but it's basically for their understanding. They don't know how the universe. They didn't even understand anything. But you look at it now, the Earth is just hanging up there in space.
Yeah.
Right, and on and on. There's all these things the Bible says about science and how the universe works and everything that there's no way these people could have understood, but they wrote it down.
Yeah.
And now we know scientifically that it's exactly right. There's zero chance they could have known this.
Yeah.
Right? Even one of the interesting things is like in the new kingdom, after Jesus comes back, there's going to be, I believe it's the temple, and it has 12 stones in it, 12 gems, representing the 12 apostles. And these gems, I forget all the names of them, but they all, when you shine a laser light through them, they all shoot out a rainbow or really bright colors. But the gem that's not included is diamonds and rubies. You should, and those are like the most expensive gems. So if you're writing the Bible and you want to fool people that the new kingdom's going to have all these adorned with all these fabulous gems, you're putting diamonds in there. No diamonds, but you shoot a laser through a diamond, comes out black. Shoot a laser through a ruby, comes out black. You shoot it through an amethyst, comes out like a rainbow. So all these different gems.
Wow.
Like there's no way they knew about lasers or light like this at all.
Yeah,
but you
crazy.
shoot a laser through a diamond, it comes out dark. You shoot a laser through these other gems, it comes out with more light. God is light. The Bible says, Jesus says, "I'm the light of the world." Now think about that. Like you wanted to talk about time travel. If God is light, and if you go the speed of light, time stops, then therefore time doesn't exist for God. Time is a construct for us.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I never knew. I never heard about that.
I mean, it's on.
Well,
If
yeah,
you
I
go through the
mean, it makes
so many,
sense.
you just blow your mind how accurate it is, and there's no way these people can know this stuff. Heck, they thought that the Earth, like the sky, the stars, it was just holes in the roof of the Earth with light shining through. That's what they thought it was.
Yeah.
They had this really odd idea of what the Earth was. They didn't have any idea of the universe. They didn't even know there were other planets or anything like that. They didn't know anything, but yet they were able to write it down
Yeah.
in their primitive way of explaining it. But this is all through God's guidance. So, like, the whole Bible is inspired by God, right? God basically tells these people what.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, yeah, I mean that makes sense. Basically, with how much of a phenomenon, well, not phenomena, or that the Bible is just kind of it's like a miracle kind of book. Like the fact that it could just transcend through thousands of years and be relevant to like any one individual, and there's just so much information always coming out. And yeah, I've seen those archaeological findings that they're finding that they're discovering that are proving a lot of that the Bible's true. Basically, that they're finally finding more proof about Jesus' existence. And so,
Well, Jesus' existence not even a question. Everyone knows that he
well,
existed.
they've always looked for
The
exact
Son of
proof, and yeah, they're just finding Pontius Pilate, stuff with Pontius Pilate. Yeah, like it just proves more
Yeah.
that it's more likely that he was a real person and stuff like that, man. But
Like I said,
kind
every
of
historical place that they put in the Bible, like they said, the Sumerians had a camp here for their war party, and it was shaped like this, and they weren't able to find it for a long time. Then they find it, and they're like, oh, it's yes, like on and on and on. They've never found something and been like, oh, this contradicts the Bible. Nothing.
yeah. It might have been
But
actually
this
that show I'm
thing,
telling you
but
about. That
when you read it, it's a trip because it's like they call it the living word.
yeah, yeah,
That's what the Bible called, the living word. It actually is that.
yep.
It's a trip. I understand it now. I was a critic, or not a critic, I guess, but
It makes sense
I was a
because
logical thinker, or I am a logical thinker. So when I looked at the Bible, I looked at it with a critical, logical eye, like looking for problems. And all I found was that it's absolutely authentic, and you can't. It's alive. Like, no matter how much you read it, and you can read the same verses over and over, and they'll have multiple layers to it. And the reason you find out more information is because you believe in God, so the Holy Spirit's in you, and the Holy Spirit's your guide, and it guides you, helps you interpret more and more. And the Bible says, "Seek and you shall find." So as you're seeking, God will choose to reveal more in the Scripture
yeah,
than you've seen before. It's
yeah.
it's amazing.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That the Bible's like a miracle book because it's so relevant. It's been relevant this whole time. But yeah, anybody that reads it, yeah, they'll find their own interpretation in it. Like so when I heard that the living word, like, well, yeah, it made sense to me that every time you read like a passage, it'll be something. I've heard people even say, like, open up the Bible and just don't even look and just read the first paragraph or the first, and it'll mean something to you. It'll do something to you. Like, I never
Well,
tried it,
it's
I guess. But
it only really well. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I think you need the Holy Spirit to help you discern. In order to have that, you have to believe in Jesus. If you do that, then you're baptized with the Holy Spirit. Once you believe in Jesus, then you are granted the Holy Spirit within you. Holy Spirit, Jesus, and God, they're all one, yet they're three. So it's the Trinity. But anyway, the Holy Spirit helps you discern. So they say when you go to church or you listen to anybody preaching, you always ask the Holy Spirit for guidance, because the Holy Spirit will let you know right away whether this is sound or not, whether this is nonsense or not. You don't have to, you don't lean on your own understanding. God is there in you, with you, to guide you.
yeah,
And it's a trip. Like, I'll give you an instance, like, where something that I was shocked, and see what you think of this. So the Bible says, "Seek and you shall find." That was a big thing I caught on right away. Like when I was reading it, I was like, "Well, it seems like they talk about that a lot." So I started seeking, and I was seeking everywhere. I was looking at biblical text, you know, people who are experts in the field of biblical text, the authenticity of it, the historicity of it, just reading the Bible itself. I was just seeking, seeking, seeking. And then there's a passage in the Bible where Jesus was talking to a shepherd, and he says, "How many sheep do you have?" And he says, "I have 100 sheep." And what if one of those sheep went astray? What would you do? And he goes, "Well, I would go get him." And he goes, "But you would leave the other sheep?" He goes, "Yeah, because they're not going astray." And so he says, "That's right. Just like when my sheep go astray, I will go and bring that sheep back." Because, and he says, and even though you went astray, I love you. Oh, and the traditional interpretation of that is that sheep is a sinner. He went away from the fold and became a sinner, and Jesus goes and grabs that sinner and brings him back, right? Which is the correct interpretation. But I'm also thinking, wait, it says seek and you shall find, right? He wants you to do that. So I'm also, or I was shown that sheep is out seeking. The other sheep aren't seeking.
Yeah.
So he went, sheep that went down the wrong road while he was seeking. Don't look. You don't need to look there. That's the wrong place to look. I'm going to bring you back over here. But I love you most. Why would he love sinning the most? It's not that he loves the sinner the most. He loves the one who's doing what he was told and seeking, even though he's in the wrong place.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring you to the right place to seek. So, and it's just layers and layers and layers of this stuff. Like the Bible is unending knowledge and wisdom from God, and you're never going to have it all, and you don't need to have it. But you need to have enough. Like everyone's the individual, you need to have enough to make you understand that it's real and God's real.
Oh, yeah, man, I believe for sure it's a miracle book for sure. Like whatever happened.
God wrote a book.
Yeah.
Think about it like that. That's the actual fact, right? People read all kinds of books, but they never read the book that God, your creator, wrote as a guide for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what that should be the book that you read over all other books. God wrote a book. Yeah, okay. Tom Clancy wrote some books. God wrote a book. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, which book are you going to read?
Yeah.
Go ahead and read the Tom Clancy, but you might want to read the one that God wrote first.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do it. I'll get there. I'll get there.
Well, you could just download the Bible app and listen to it.
Yeah, I think I have a version somebody gave me a long time ago, but it might be the King James version.
Yeah, which is all accurate except for Revelation. Part of Revelation's accurate, and part of it is just the guy was like, "Well, I'm missing these pages, so I'm just going to fill it in with what."
Well, let that kind of lead into this next topic we wanted to get into. And in regards to the time travel question, I wanted to ask you. You had mentioned a while back that you feel that time travel is not possible, not only just for the technology but for the physical limitations that human beings couldn't really do it.
Yeah.
So you feel like a human being, like the body would just get torn into pieces, like it wouldn't even survive, like that type of speed or whatever it would take to do that.
No, it's not that. Like, if you could build a spaceship that could go 687 million miles an hour, you're essentially, or how? Look, anytime you're moving, you're slowing time down. Or time is moving slower for you, even driving in your car. But it's such a fraction that it's not even noticeable.
Well then, either way, just to move, say, just a person, a physical person, you would need like a ship. You would need some sort of mechanical vehicle to travel at that speed, right? And that's probably the most impossible part of it.
Yeah. Okay. So you can't go back in time That is impossible. There's no going back in time. Now, with speed, you can slow time's movement down. So if you went the speed of light, time would stop for you. If you go half the speed of light, say you're going half the speed of light for 10 years, and you're in outer space because you'd have to be, and you're on some ship that's going 343 million miles an hour. So you do that for 10 years, just traveling around at that speed. Come back to Earth. Everyone on Earth is 10 years older, but you're 5 years older.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 10 years older, but they're 20 years older.
Yeah. Hey Dan, real quick, I don't know if you switched.
Oh no, you're 5 years older.
I don't know if you switched your phone from speaker. It got a little bit lower. I don't know if you're on Bluetooth.
Okay, hang on just a second. I'll switch it back.
Yeah, it just got really low. So. But let me ask you this question. So, I mean, as far as you saying,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. You're back to the way it sounded. So let me ask you this question. So, as far as you saying you can't go back into the past, I mean, do you think there is a past? Do you think it's something? There's a concept like that? Like there's a past? Like there's the past, present, and future. You could go into the future by traveling fast, and therefore time slows down, and you don't.
But you're not actually going into the future. You're just slowing time down for you.
Yeah.
Time is relative, right? So the faster someone's moving, like an airline pilot, time's going to move a little slower over his life than it is for other people. It's like according to time, but it would be a little bit. He would probably gain a life, maybe an hour. I don't know.
Well, I guess here's my question. I'll quit beating around the bush. Do you think instead of a physical person in a machine trying to travel, in any direction, past or future, do you think time travel is possible for information? Say like a code, like basically, you think a code could be sent in the past or into the future, just like a message, just a message, like. I don't know if something physical like a piece of paper, but you don't think, I don't know how it would work. I don't know what the hell kind of quantum computer it would take to do something like that, but I mean, it would be something like that, I guess, to just to send information.
No, you can't do that.
Not even that?
But I would say this is true. Information is not lost. So basically, any information out there never lost. Like if you had black holes eventually suck. If you had a wallet in your pocket and you went into a black hole, all the information, your DNA coding, all the information on your credit cards and everything is torn apart and altered, but that information is not lost out in the black hole. The information, but you can't move. Moving through time, it doesn't matter if it's information or physical or person or whatever. You can't go forward in time and you can't go backward in time. You can only slow time down.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess, I've always just thought about it being a physical limitation. But if it's just more like information, like just data, I just wondered if maybe data could survive, I mean, obviously. I guess I just always wondered what is actually really possible at like the Hadron Colliders and stuff like that. They're supposedly claiming that they're traveling they're smashing particles at the speed of light. So I wonder if
it's almost not quite the speed of light, but it's almost.
Yeah, well, or maybe it's just the whole concept.
Well,
they're not telling everything that they're doing there, but
I don't know. Like right away, the first experiment they wanted to do there, that they made the bigger collider for, was to find the Higgs boson particle, which is the particle that gives all particles mass. And not too long after they turned it on, I believe in 2016, they found that particle, and so that helped the standard model of physics. So they're doing something like that. I don't think they're interested in time travel. They understand the physics of it. Time is light. The speed of light is light is time is light, right? It's like they're interconnected. Like, so like I said, time stops.
Well, I guess
So
I just always wondered
so
that.
you can't go faster than the speed of light. You can't even go the speed of light. But if you theoretically you could, if you had something that could travel that fast.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I
But
guess I
if you
was
did,
always
time
wondered that, but
stop. And if you the closer you get to it,
we might have to get a nuclear
sorry, I
physicist on
had
the
to
show one day.
drive.
Huh? That's also good. Well, then let's kind of lead in. We got
Yeah,
a 20.
I'll
We
tell
got
you the same thing.
say that one more time. I'm sorry.
What?
What was the last thing you said?
Yeah, a, a, a phys.
A nuclear physicist?
Oh,
Oh, hold on, my brother. You're cutting out a lot right now. Yeah, Dan, you're cutting out a lot, bro. I can't even
Time
understand.
travel is not possible
Oh, there
now,
you go.
but you can, huh?
No, you were cutting out a
You
lot,
know
but you're
what? I
back.
parked
You're
in a
back.
bad.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, let me move because I parked in a bad spot. Hang on, let me. Sorry about
No,
that.
I'm saying, yeah, maybe we'll get a nuclear physicist on the show one day. We'll ask him all kinds of questions.
I, they're not going to tell you anything different about time travel. Believe me, I watched hundreds and hundreds of hours of physicists talking about things like this. Now, there is some interesting stuff you could talk about in physics that have to do with this sort of thing, I guess. Like I'll put it to you like this: like, have you heard of dark matter and dark energy?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that makes up 95% of the known universe. Yet we can't detect it other than its effect on us. But we're so advanced. But everything that we know of, like planets, stars, galaxies, gas, and everything that makes up the physical world, the physical universe, that's only 5% of what's out there. The other 95% is there, but it's unseen, and it's
yeah.
in the form of dark matter, dark energy. And then as
Well,
far as like particles go, like the things you're made of, most people think atoms, but atoms are made of quarks and on a smaller level.
so they think dark
Those,
matter is an actual physical, like a matter, like it's actual has particles.
most most physicists believe it's matter. There's some physicists that believe it's it's a modified Newton gravity. Like, so our understanding of gravity is incorrect, which is possible too. But what we do know is about 27%, 25% of the universe is made up of this force they call dark matter because they can't see it. They can only detect its effect on the universe. And so it's there. There's a force there, whether it's a deeper understanding of gravity, but most physicists believe it's matter. I'm not sure, but they don't know what matter it's made of. They've got it dialed to a few things that are possible, but they haven't been able to detect this. They know it's there because like a galaxy, we have I think about 100 billion stars, and the stars in the center of it should be spinning fast, and as you go out, they should be slowing down. The rotation of the ones further out because they have less gravitational pull than the ones in the center. Like if you're on a what do you call that ride you get on as a kid? It spins around. What can I think of the name of that? Merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round.
And so if you're in the center, you're spinning really fast, but if you're on the outside, you're spinning slower.
No, that makes sense.
Right? Our effect on you is slower. And that's how the universe, that's how the galaxy should be operating. But all the galaxies, the stars on the outside, are moving as fast as the ones on the inside, which is not possible with the gravitational mass of all the stars and things that are in the galaxies. It wouldn't cause that. So there's some other force that they call dark matter, which they believe is particles, massive amounts of particles, like clouds of them, giant, that are there, but we can't detect them other than the fact that they have an effect on the map. and it's
Oh,
25 times. So for every star and planet and moon and gases in the galaxy, there's 25% more, or about, well, there's 5% that, and there's 25% dark matter, and then there's, the other part is about 70% dark energy. I don't know what that is either, but it's an energy force that's actually causing the universe to expand. And the universe, now this is the odd thing, nothing can travel this fast as the speed of light, right? But the universe is expanding faster than the speed of light. But that doesn't mean that it can't, because nothing in the universe can travel faster than the speed of light. But the universe itself is expanding faster than the speed of light.
oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
No,
know what that is.
that's
Point
all.
is that we don't. We think we know a whole lot, but we don't. But time travel, I would say no. There's no way you could do it. Like,
Yeah.
you can't go
Well, I
back in
guess
time.
I've just always heard that idea that physical bodies probably can't do it, or the technology to get somebody to travel through time would is we're still like hundreds and hundreds of years away from something like that. But I always wondered if they could if at the Hadron Collider, if they're already getting close to the speed of light, if maybe information can be sent in any direction. But I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking science fiction wise. I watch too many damn movies, but it sounds like a good idea. There's actually pretty.
Yeah, the
There's a bunch of
Hadron.
movies about that, I think.
Well, there's a bunch of movies about a lot of things that are just science fiction, like aliens and things like that, that are just, you. I, I can't even watch most of them anymore. I'm like, okay, no way. Like some lizard type of alien or whatever. They land on Earth and they jump out and they start planet. Well, how the hell are they going to survive in they're not from? How are they going to survive in a gravitational pull they're not from, with radiation that's different than where they from? Different. It can't be exactly the same, right? How'd they get here? They're a star outside our solar system to us, 4 light years away. So if you're going 687 million miles an hour, it would take you 4 years to get to the nearest star outside our solar system.
Yeah.
687 million miles an hour. Like our galaxy, to travel from one end to the other, it would at the speed of light, 687 million miles an hour would take you 100,000 just for our galaxy, and there are hundreds of billions of galaxies that really is basically impossible. So, like you can't the distance.
Yeah, there's
And the physics isn't going to change just because you're.
you're cut out a little bit, brother.
What?
You're still cutting out like kind of a little bit. I'm hearing most of everything you're saying though.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say
Sorry.
there's some movie I saw recently called Aniara. I don't know if you've seen it or heard about it. It's like a Swedish film. It's
Called
based on,
what?
huh?
No, I don't think
Yeah, it's based on like
I haven't seen it.
some story from like the 1950s. But basically, the idea is that they've destroyed Earth, so people are they built these gigantic ships. They're almost like planets, and what they do is they transfer people back and forth like in 3 weeks from Earth to Mars, and they're just dumping people on Mars because the Earth is already kind of like destroyed. But this ship at one point they're on the way to Mars, and they try to avoid like debris like in space, so they have to turn. But the debris hits like one of their fuel like pods or something, so they have to dump all their fuel, and they end up not being able to steer the ship, so the ship just floats off into space. And so it's like a lot of people, it's like a city amount of people, like a whole city. And so at first, it was supposed to be like a 3 week trip, but they end up telling the people that they have to wait until they pass like a planet or something to use the gravitational pull to be able to spin back and go back into their corrected course. But the truth is, they know that they're not gonna pass by any planet. So they're literally just gonna drift off into space. So the whole movie's when I read about it afterwards, people consider it like a horror movie, and it is, bro. It's pretty freaky, man. Like, so these people, they end up they're just trying to live their lives knowing that they're just gonna die in space, just floating off. So anyway, at the end of the movie, I don't know if you're ever gonna watch this, so I'll just spoil it for everybody and you. At the end of the movie, basically, it's 5 million years later, and the ship is passing by like the first sun, but it took 5 million years to get there. At this rate that it was going, so that made me think about that. But hey, real quick, Dan. So all this kind of leads into I guess I don't know if you still want to talk about it, those alien videos. So if you want to put that for next time, or we got about 9 minutes.
I guess we could talk about that real quick. That one in Nevada.
Want to play the video real quick and then just kind of share your thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to play the video right now. Here we go. Is there any audio on this thing?
Yeah, I don't know. They were speaking Spanish anyway.
There should be audio on it. I don't know why it's not.
See, they're looking at they believe an alien behind the tractor back there.
Yeah, so this is the one. Okay, yeah, see, they're pointing at stuff. Hold on, let me play the other one. I think this is the news report.
It was the streak seen across the sky, now seen around the world. This, as our 8 News Now investigators confirm, Metro actually set up cameras at this home where a family called 911 claiming to see aliens in their backyard. And tonight, a fierce debate is underway about the legitimacy of an alleged UFO crash. Good evening, I'm Janice Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. Our 8 News Now investigators reporting about terrified members of a local family who told police they had aliens in their backyard. Chief Investigator George Knapp here to piece it all together.
George, as with all things UFO, the public debate is ferocious and ongoing. Was it all a hoax? Were we duped? Was it all an evil plot, a cover-up, all of the above? We took another look at the hubbub to separate wheat from chaff. The fireball captured on a police body cam on the night of April 30th was real. The American Meteor Society says witnesses reported seeing it all across the West, from northeastern Utah to Southern California. Another Las Vegas resident sent us a video of the same object recorded on her home camera.
Investigation by Nexstar station KLAS.
As the story of the Las Vegas incident spread across newscasts and social media, one of NASA's planetary defense officers weighed in to say it was likely a small meteor that fell to Earth hundreds of miles away from Las Vegas. Police videos obtained by 8 News Now indicate Metro officers were among the witnesses.
One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious.
The appearance of the meteor seemingly triggered the events that followed. A frightened family called 911 and told police they had 10-foot-tall alien beings in their backyard. Officers responded to the home minutes later, interviewed the witnesses, canvassed the area, and cautiously inspected the backyard to look for intruders. One thing noticed by the officers was a circle in the soil. In conversations with us and in a podcast interview, Angel, the main witness, suggested the circle might have been created when an unknown object landed in the yard. Social media sleuths have since pointed out that the circular image has been viewable via Google Earth for more than a year. The family told us by phone they had seen suspicious vehicles with men in black types checking out their home. Turns out there is substance to that. A retired police officer fessed up on News Nation that he spent days staking out the house to see what, if anything, unfolded. What about those reports that Metro installed a special surveillance camera atop the house, presumably to watch for intruders, human or otherwise, or overzealous media? Turns out that's true as well. Metro confirmed as much in a statement to 8 News Now's David Charnes. The system stayed on the roof for days. What about the Ring camera video with the weird noise? The main witness, Angel, intimated to us the video was recorded by one of his neighbors, and the audio was from the April 30th UFO crash. It wasn't. The security camera video was recorded in mid-April, according to the man who first posted the clip. He doesn't want his name used, but says the recording was from a fireball that passed over his home in a southwestern part of the valley 2 weeks prior to the alleged alien encounter. The family declined to be interviewed by us, but members have spoken elsewhere and stick to their claims of seeing aliens in the backyard. Dozens of people on social media have analyzed and dissected the images with various claims of aliens spotted in the shadows. Police do not believe this was a hoax call, which could be a crime if done intentionally. In the fervid swamp known as UFO world, our coverage of the story was itself seen as a dastardly plot to distract attention away from a prominent whistleblower named David Grush, who stepped forward around the same.
Well, let's just go to the video where they claim that there is an actual something in there. Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
So I guess yeah, me and my brother were trying to figure it out too, and I never seen this highlight. I never seen it highlighted like that. But I mean, obviously the reports they're gonna analyze everything, but this family's sticking with it.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that report.
There's something back there. I've never seen that.
Yeah, dude. I don't know what is that. Did you see it?
Yeah, like what they're looking at, where this arrow right here is pointing at. I don't know. They're not looking there, but yeah, there's something moving there. But there was something back there. I never noticed that.
Yeah, something walks right up.
It's the same shape. Yeah, there it goes right there. Oh hell, who the hell knows then? So what's your thoughts on this? What do you think?
This video's
what was that?
Yeah, I don't know that it's a hoax or not, but it's weird that there's some more information on there, so I don't know. I thought that whatever fell from the sky that night, right before he called 911.
Well, it did. No, that did, but they have like other footage of the sound. They're saying that's from something else. But that something fell that night. Those people made the call, and then the police showed up, and they're on camera saying, "Yeah, we saw that too." So something happened that night for sure. And then that video of these people looking at something, that was from the same night.
Something walks up on the side of the fence that's taller than the fence. It looks like shadow, but it's something. And now that could be fake. I don't know, but it's hard for me to understand how you could have the video of something falling from the sky, then that happening in the backyard. Like, how do you? I mean, they choreograph something falling from the sky so that they can do this hoax in their backyard. Without the thing falling from the sky, pretty much it's a hoax. But whether it's real or not, I can't say for sure. But the thing to me that it catches me is like, I think that if it is real, it's not alien, it's spiritual, either angel, demon, because that's way more likely than aliens. I mean, it's not just more likely; it is. The Bible clearly states all the different spiritual beings: cherubim, seraphim, principalities, watchers, angels, etc., demons, Satan. All these spiritual beings that have access to the earth and access to us are with God as well. So this is all in the Bible. Aliens, we don't have any evidence of at all. Plus, the physics doesn't lend itself to aliens. It does lend itself to spiritual beings. So if this is real, this would be some sort of spiritual being, whether good or bad, I don't know. Yeah. But that's my take on it. Now, whether this is real or not, I don't really care. I mean, it's interesting, but I think it's more important that that we realize that, or think about it in the ways that if you have these unidentified sightings of things, most of them will be hoaxes. But if there's something legitimate, it's going to be spiritual. It's not going to be alien. It's not going to be of this world, or it's not going to be physical like us. It's going to be spiritual, like the F-15 fighter jets that had that object on their radar, on their flare. That's looks like a cherubim, which is described in the Bible as a ring within a ring within a ring, moving. They're gold, and they're all just spinning, and then it describes the whole thing, and it can move at speeds, whatever speed it wants, and it can change direction without slowing down, and that's exactly what that thing is doing on their flare. So there is something there. It's either top secret technology that we don't know about, or it's going to be spiritual. It's not going to be alien. Alien is the least likely explanation for phenomena. It's most likely. You got three things. You got hoaxes, you got top secret stuff, and you got spiritual. alien would be at the bottom of that list if I would even put it on the list, because alien, the physics of it is basically impossible.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to highlight on this video, is that the alien thing is like, that's like the least likely, scientifically possible than all the other things.
Yeah.
Most of them are hoaxes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some of the videos I've seen, yeah, I've kind of always put that together myself, that however they're moving is some sort of gravity manipulation. So you saying it's like a ring within a ring within a ring? That makes a lot of sense. That it would be some sort of gravitational manipulation
within a golden ring that are all spinning in different directions and can move along. Like the cherubim's like part of it are standing, and then it has like eyes all around it on its wings, but it's kind of glowing as well. So like if you have it on video from a distance, you're probably not going to be able to make it all out. But you can look in the Bible and it describes all this stuff. So what we're seeing is more likely that than anything else. Top military craft is very possible as well, and hoaxes are obviously a part of all of this.
Yeah, well, the way they move is that's one of those beyond comprehension type of thing. The way they describe them moving, they're literally moving. What they describe them as, they sometimes think it's almost like a laser, like it literally moves that fast, like it's just like laser dots.
Yeah, in a physical entity, whether human or alien, in something like that move like that, the physics still apply, and they're going to be smashed. Yeah. Can't move like that if you're physical. It's going to have the G forces of that would just liquefy you.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I told you earlier, Tucker Carlson thinks the same thing. He thinks that they might be more spiritual than it is technology and aliens from another planet type of thing. So who the heck knows? But
a funny point to me, I'll tell you like a funny thing, because I think a lot of Christians, they'll go alien before they'll go spiritual entity, which is weird because you believe in those, but you don't have any aliens. Like, and I was talking to my brother, and he people believe what they want, and he was like, yeah, he's telling me about this alien sighting or something, and I was like, well, if he believes in God, I go, well, if aliens are true, then there goes God. He's like, why? I go, well, if we are made in God's image, as the Bible says, then who are they? They're more advanced than us. How could God make us in His image, but there's an image of some other being that's more advanced than us? Like, it doesn't talk about any of this in the Bible. So, as well as there's no way they could get here, and we can't go there. I don't care how advanced we get. The physics doesn't change. Everything is moving away from us at very high speeds.
Yeah.
The further out you go, the faster it's going. So even as our technology advances, the speed you're going to need to go is outpacing your technology. And even right now, even if it wasn't moving, you're not going anywhere. You're not supposed to.
That kind of makes me think about the point I just made about that movie, where after 5 million years, it ends up at a solar system, because they mentioned which solar system it is at the beginning of the movie, like when it's pointing in that direction. But after 5 million years, that thing's probably not even going to be there. It's going to be in a whole different location. So even if they're going in one direction, that solar system's already moved on 5 million years away from. So that makes sense.
Yeah, the space is expanding.
Yeah, nothing's staying still. So
like in the future, in the far future, when we won't be here, it's that far away. But when you look up in the sky, if you were here, and I don't know how many years it would be, but it's a long time away. But based on what the universe is doing right now, in the future, you won't be able to see any stars or planets out. Nothing. It'll all be too far away to even be seen.
No.
Yeah, so that's what the universe is doing. So we're going to build a craft to go out there. Well, it's all moving away from us too. Plus, we don't have. What is the fastest we could go? 50,000 miles an hour. It's like compared to 6-7 million, not even in the ballpark. So it's just not a possibility.
Yeah, no, I lean more towards that. For sure. I've always thought that, and I've told people I don't think aliens are real. There's no way spaceships are coming from another planet. It's just too damn far. We're too small. No matter what technology, not even if they had a technology that's faster than anything we could think of, like there's just debris, and like how the hell do they avoid that? How do they avoid debris like in space? Like they'll crash into something. I mean, there's just no way that they've figured it all out. So to me, it's more possible that it's an interdimensional thing, or just some super advanced technology that we can't even figure out how they came up with.
Well, I mean, I could see them getting through space without crashing into something. That's actually possible. But the point, like, and I can, on a scientific level, aliens existing somewhere else is almost a certainty. But on a biblical level, it's not. So, but my point is, even if they do exist somewhere else, we're never going to know about it. They're never going to know about us. We're never going to know about them, because even if you're shooting out radio signals that go the speed of light, to get to some place that there should be life would probably take millions of years just to make one communication. If not thousands of years at minimum. That's like being generous. Thousands of years. So, like, you could send out a radio communication, and it would be, 1,000 years from now that you might hear something back. And you're not going to hear it back, because then you got to do the probability that they received it. I mean, it's just. And then on top of that, people always think, well, if there's life out there, it's going to be advanced aliens who are flying around in flying saucers. Why wouldn't they be just primordial goo? Like, there's life out there that started after our life started. There would be some before, some after. If there's life out there, probably all over the place, and some would be more advanced, some would be less advanced than us. Point is, though, you're not going to know about it because the distances are just too far.
Yeah, well, that's all. Those are all concepts that blow people's minds, man. A lot of people don't think that intricately, so it's definitely a.
Well, people believe what they want, but
trippy
not
topic.
what is.
I think most people just avoid it. I mean, they'd rather just not even think that type of stuff. But
well, look, people don't really think about a lot of this stuff, because, like, if you think about Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster or Abominable Snowman, let's just go Bigfoot. There's actual TV shows where people are going out there searching for Bigfoot, and people are watching this. How is that even a possibility on a basic logical level? It takes you 2 seconds to think this through. Like, for any species that we've ever known, you need thousands, if not even more, to not mutate the gene pool for them to reproduce. They have to reproduce, otherwise they don't exist, right? And if they're reproducing, then they're making thousands of them at minimum. Well, where are they all? We've never seen one of them on a decent video. We've never found the bones or the remains of one of them. It don't make any sense at all on just a basic life logic level that Bigfoot is possible. No. But people want to believe it, so that's where their thinking stops. They could all think this through. It's not complicated, but they don't want to, so they believe what they want, not what the facts are showing them. And the same thing goes for aliens. When you learn the physics of the universe, it's just really not a plausible possibility. No. Or Loch Ness Monster. If one Loch Ness Monster, thousands, these are giant sea creatures? Well, how are they surviving over the millennia if they're not reproducing? If they are, they die. They wash up on the beach. You're going to see them somewhere. I mean, it's just like all of a sudden we got animals that are like reproducing and living, but they're hiding from us, like they're smarter than us. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, as far as Bigfoot, the one theory is that Bigfoot might be psychic. He might be able to read minds, and that's how he's able to avoid people, because he can sense them.
Yeah, but there has to be more than one.
Yeah. Well, I think it just all boils down to just the human nature, just striving to think that there's something bigger than what the life they see in front of them. Just to think that life is just more complicated and more fantastical than what we really see. So I think that's all it is, just the imagination.
I agree.
Try to push
and aliens. Like, if you think about that, all aliens is human beings' projection of themselves in the future. Like, it's just what we think we would be in the future. If we were more advanced, that's what we would be. We would have no hair, bigger eyes, bigger brains, smaller bodies, because, you don't need all that. You're more intelligent. You need less strength. You don't need the hair because, you're all your technology takes care of everything. You don't need to worry about whatever. And you can travel around through space on spaceships because guess what our latest technology is? Space shuttle, planes, etc. Back in the day when they invented the telescope, Copernicus, I believe it was looking at Mars, and you saw the lines on Mars with his rudimentary telescope and thought they were rivers. And well, the aliens and the Martians up there, they must be traveling along these rivers in boats. What was the latest technology at the time? Boats. Why weren't they spaceships then? Because he didn't know about things that could fly.
No.
Now we know about things that can fly. All of a sudden, aliens are using those. But when we didn't have those, they were using boats. And when we have something more advanced, that's what they'll be using. It's just us. It's a projection of us in the future.
No. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, who the hell knows? Well, I mean,
I wanted to get into science of God, proving God through science, but we'll have to do that on the next one because there's
yeah.
because we're talking about science. A lot of people are like, wow, now the universe, there's no God. It's just look at the universe. But if you look at the universe, I can show you how the universe proves God in your own mind. Like if you really think about it, you'll prove it to yourself that there is a God. You can say it's not the God of the Bible, but there certainly is one. And maybe we'll get into that on the next one because it's interesting.
Well, let's do it. Let's do the next one. Just we'll bring that up and just let me know what topics, and I'll look some stuff up if you want. I could put some videos and graphics, whatever you need.
Yeah, I think we should go over that one because that one's pretty interesting. And then I don't know. We'll see what comes up in the week. Joe Biden may be dropping out in the next week. I don't know.
No shit. Well, I actually tested the software right now, man. Usually I try to cut it out before it gets to the 2-hour mark because we've had some bad luck with that in the past. But now we're at 2:11, so I guess this software does go beyond 2 hours without messing up. But I'm not gonna push it right now. So we'll just end it right here, my brother, and then we'll chop it after and we'll plan the next one. But yeah, we'll see what the hell. We'll see what's up with Biden.
Yeah.
So sounds good.
Awesome.
All right, brother. So then, no good show. So we'll see you guys next time. Like that.
Everyone take care, and I'll talk to you after the show.
All right, then. All right. Bye. Let me put this on.